The man relieved himself on the snow, only to notice that his urine looked a little yellow. To his surprise, the heat was strong enough to melt the ice beneath him. Out of boredom, he poked the icy surface with his walking stick. Unexpectedly, the ice began to crack quickly, and the hole grew larger and larger. Terrified, the man turned to run, but he was a step too late. His teammate rushed over, trying to pull him up, but his strength wasn't enough. So, the man attempted to climb up on his own. But then, a backpack on the sled suddenly slipped off, nearly pulling him down the cliff. At that moment, he dared not move again. All he could do was pray that his teammate would save him. His companion noticed that the sled rope had already pulled so tight it could snap at any second. The man was also about to lose his grip. Thankfully, his teammate thought fast and tossed down a spare safety rope. The man reached out immediately. It was his only hope of survival. But his strength was nearly gone. His companion pulled with all his might, but before they knew it, another accident struck. The man suddenly slipped and fell toward the endless cliff below. Fortunately, with quick reflexes, he caught hold of the safety rope just in time, narrowly escaping death. His teammate pulled hard from above while the man used both hands and feet to climb. With everyone working together, he was finally pulled to safety. After this close call, they realized Antarctica was far more dangerous than they had imagined. But determined to be the first team to conquer it, their captain pressed on. He believed that with his experience, he could lead his team back home alive. So how did all this begin? Half a year earlier, the captain had discovered a blank, unexplored area on the map. He immediately shared the news with his team and proposed they go find out what secrets it held. The idea excited everyone, but there was one problem: they didn't have enough money. So, the captain turned to a wealthy businessman for help. The man loved adventure, and given the captain's strong reputation in the field, he agreed to sponsor the mission in the name of his family. With funding secured, the team spent 2 months planning their route. Then, the captain rented a ship, and their Antarctic expedition officially began. After 4 months at sea, they finally reached Antarctica. Faced with towering walls of ice over 100 meters high, the team stood speechless in awe. They set up a safe base camp, rested overnight, and prepared to head deeper the next morning. But as soon as they stepped out, a blizzard struck. At first, they tried to push forward, but the storm was far too strong, forcing them back into camp. Day after day, they grew restless and anxious. Luckily, the storm cleared a few days later, and their journey could continue. Step by step, they moved carefully, fearful that another accident might strike. After a month of trekking, they finally reached the very heart of Antarctica, becoming the first expedition team to conquer it. Back home, they were celebrated as heroes. But at the victory banquet, the captain's jealous superior suddenly announced a new mission: they would now explore the Arctic. The captain panicked. No one had ever returned alive from the Arctic. But with so many reporters present, he had no choice but to agree. Soon after, he rented another ship, investing heavily to prepare. Since their Antarctic trip had gone smoothly, he wasn't too worried. But disaster struck as soon as they reached the Arctic. Extreme weather froze their ship solid in the ice. Panic spread quickly. If they couldn't free the ship, they would starve. They tried smashing the ice with shovels, but it was useless. Refusing to give up, the captain attempted it himself, only to slip and fall, breaking his right arm badly. The pain was overwhelming. And the dangers didn't end there. Later, while trying to write a letter for help, the captain heard a strange noise outside. A hungry polar bear had wandered into their camp. Shocked, he bolted out of the tent, yelling for his teammates to watch out. Just as the bear lunged, it looked as though the captain's end had come. Fortunately, his teammates rushed in and managed to drive the bear away just in time. The immediate danger passed. But the captain was left with a deep wound on his back. Seeing his injuries, the team was shaken to the core. They had only wanted to gain fame through this adventure, not risk their lives. The captain now realized the Arctic was far deadlier than they had ever imagined. Under the crushing weight of survival, he finally made the painful decision to abandon the mission. The very next morning, he released their only carrier pigeon, carrying a plea for help tied to its leg. Not long after, headquarters received the message and sent a rescue plane. Soon, the team was brought back home safely. After this life and death experience, they finally understood a greater truth: life isn't about endless, breathtaking adventures. real happiness comes from being with family. And that's where today's story ends.